here at the beginning of the show, but as he comes in, we will allow him to come on the air. The thing is, Bahamians, we have some very interesting conversations. We've had some over a period of time, and we're going to add new people. And let me just say this. I have to put this general statement out there. We made an appeal to people in the financial community to explain all of this financial communication, which is in the budget. And we asked them for an hour of their time. They can come in and express themselves and let the average Bahamian know what these financial terminologies mean. It is important, Bahamians, for you to understand and know how you can assist your government and make life better for all of us. We don't want people talking over our heads and we don't understand. We need to understand Bahamians. So we're asking the financial community to give us some of their time. You can call into the show or radio station, leave your name and number so that we can call you and let you come in, or you can call in, as the case may be. Whether you're inside the country, outside the country, you can still participate. Whether you're on a family island, you still can participate. All you have to do is call in, leave your name and contact, and or you can send an email, the State of the Nation, 242 at gmail.com. The State of the Nation, 242 at gmail.com. Or you may call Professor Sidney Walter Thompson at National Affairs, 325-8652. 325-8652. That is the way we're communicating at this time. Of course, there's some other things I want to outline to you, what I intend to do. I mentioned yesterday and the day before, we need a strong research team, Bahamians, 49 persons. Now, you may say, Professor, why you need 49? We have a lot of information to dig up, Bahamians. I cannot come on this radio station and give you gossip, rumor, and hearsay. The information has to be thoroughly researched, thoroughly examined. We have to have the equipment. We got to have the manpower. We have to have the resources to be able to bring you accurate and precise information. So when you hear Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the airwaves, you will know that that information is reliable, it's dependable, it's responsible, it's trustworthy. This is what research is all about. We got to send people out to do interviews, Bahamians. You think we could just accept what these other people say? We got to go dig it up. There are plenty of things that need to be digged. You're talking about 52 years of stuff that has to be digged up. That's how deep this thing is, Bahamians. A lot of things went contrary from the day we became an independent nation right on up to now. Why do you think we have all of these problems after 52 years as an independent nation? Why? We should have less problems. You have had persons you sent to do your national business over the last 52 years. We should be able to list today's successive administrations of the government of the Bahamas who have solved major constituency problems through strong representation in the House of Assembly and in the Senate, and also in the Cabinet of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And here we are 52 years later, and all we got is a whole heap of problems. Look at the murder in this country. You mean to tell me after all these years, we still have people killing of one another? For what? Do we have Bahamian citizens committing murder? Do you know it's unconstitutional to commit murder? Not constitutionally sound. Do you know if you have 1 second of frustration? I want you to listen to this carefully now, because the Constitution says no man, woman, or child shall ever have their lives frustrated by deprivation. If you experience 1 single second out of a minute of frustration since July the 10th, 1973, that is unconstitutional. You got to take this thing seriously. That means you're supposed to have frustration free for 52 years. We haven't had that, Bahamians. We have to fix it. And we can only fix it by getting the right people in place to make it happen. You have to take this thing very seriously. So the research team is very, very important because, Bahamians, I have not even spoken to you on these many agreements that the government of the Bahamas has signed on behalf of the Bahamian people, the many treaties that they have signed on behalf of the Bahamian people. We got to dig all this up, Bahamians. But it has to be thoroughly examined in what? In light of what the Constitution says. Article 2 is your prime article. Any other law that is inconsistent with this Constitution shall prevail. And the other law, to the extent of its inconsistency, is null and void. We have to look at statute laws too. There's a whole lot of things the House of Assembly has passed, sent it on to the Senate, they made it law. You don't know nothing about it. I can give you 2 examples. The Nationality Act, which was passed under the government when we were a colony, to become effective July the 10th, 1973. Then you have the Bahamas, the Electricity Act of 2024, which was just recently passed last year. And we've been examining that act. And do you know the authorities are not going according to what's in the law? The man signing all kinds of electricity agreements in his office on a Sunday when you should be in church. Or maybe you don't go to church. You ain't got no time for God. Or if he goes on the Sabbath, I don't know. But the point is, these were doing these things on a Sunday. But you were not consulted. You had no knowledge of it. And the law says, wait a minute now, you don't rush into these things, but you signing this and signing that, and you ain't consulted people. Where's the consultation? None. These are the kind of things we have to watch out for. And some other things they have written up and signed on to, say they're working on behalf of the Bahamian people. How could someone work on your behalf and you haven't given them any such authority to just go out there, take the people things, and do what they want to do with it without consulting you? You're the boss. You delegate authority to persons who sit in the House of Assembly and in the Senate. It doesn't mean they think they own anything. They have it in trust for the people. You have to remind them about that, Bahamians, but you didn't. 52 years has gone by. And we got more problems today in 2025 than we had in 1973. We should have less problems. I heard the Minister of National Security said, 1 murder is 1 murder too much. Now, I agree with him on that point. So how come we are having over 100 murders every year? Why? Why are we having that? My guest who was here yesterday told me some things about the police force. The police have a responsibility, along with other law enforcement entities, to protect the interests of the people. Not to take advantage of the people, you know. The Constitution doesn't allow for that. Police brutality, that's wrong. That's not constitutionally sound. They ain't supposed to beat up on you and knock you down and throw handcuffs on you and throw you in the back seat of the car. Where'd they get that from? or put you in the back trunk and then close the back trunk, and you're not able to breathe. That is not a good thing. So, Bahamians, you are going to have to give me your support because, Bahamians, we got a lot of work to do, plenty of work to do. They talk about the fourth estate. The fourth estate is the press, the media, people in broadcasting, people who write articles, people who do different things. Well, the point is, I happen to be in the fourth estate. I want to see things done. I want to see problems solved. I want to see constituency problems solved. I want to see problems at the national level solved because there's a way to deal with that. And you who are constituents, you who are persons on the register to vote, I can speak about parliamentary representation because it's a choice that people have to make. And I speak about the last two elections where one party had 35 seats out of 39 seats. And that's what you did, electorate. We collectively did that. Was that an intelligent decision to make? That's the decision that was made at that time. Now, did we get any major problems solved under that administration? Almost 5 years, cut short by 8 months. Were any major constituency problems been solved? Even in the 35 what they had, 35 constituencies. But those 35 constituencies still got problems. I'm going to talk about the 4 they didn't have. They wasn't checking for that 4. So ain't nothing happened with them. But they had 35 Bahamians because you gave them the 35. So let me give you all of that. Which means that they had in their hand every single thing that was wrong could have been changed. All they do is stay in the house until it finished. They had the numbers. But the fellas went on vacation. See all kind of vacation time they took. This is what your legislators have done, Bahamians. We got the track record. That's why I keep saying to you, go back and check the record. All they were having vacation. So the man said he saw these headwinds and called an early election, and you had a change of government. Now you got this government, this administration of the government of the Bahamas. So you say you can give them 32 seats. One before them had 35. So you got 32. Are we still having murder in this country? Yes, we have. Change of administration didn't stop murder in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So we're going to stop it. How are we going to stop it? What are we supposed to be doing, Bahamians, to prevent murder from occurring in this country? Because the man doesn't say. One murder is one too many. So when the commissioner comes up and talks about there's a decrease in murder, you had 10 last year, you have 10 this year, or 5 this year, that's 15. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 dead bodies on the ground. Any family through murder is a very serious, heart-rendering situation. You have to pray for them. What could be prevented in the first place? Of course we can. And then some people talk about who is Bahamian, who is foreigner. Do we know who are committing these murders? Do we know who are committing these rapes, these sexual offenses that are so heinous? The woman says she stopped to help the men. 3 of them or so attacked this woman sexually. I mean, where did this come from, Bahamians? Do Bahamian males behave like that? Now, I'm a Bahamian male. I don't behave like that. No female would have been raped in 52 years if everyone was behaving like me, unless there's consensual consent between the two. But we've been having rapes on top of rapes on top of rapes, even among people on your police force. And some other heinous crimes by persons who sit on that police force. So what are we going to do about it? Demand and tell you one murder is too many. And we've been having 100 or more every single year for several years now. I can see when it first started and come right up to where we are now. We can stop it, Bahamas. We don't have to have no murders in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. The man told me God lives in the Bahamas. Do you believe him? He said the weapons that we're using now to deal with national issues, they can't help us no more. Do you see any new instruments that have been used? Any new strategies? Any new things that we are doing to deal with the mounting problems that afflict the Bahamian people? Do you see the government implementing any new ways of dealing with the burdens and problems? I understand Chief Justices are here and heads of judiciary. Now, I believe, I don't know if they were saying the same set of people, but I was listening to the news last night. They had something live on ZNS, and they were saying this meeting for the Chief Justices of the Caribbean and heads of the judiciary. Are you talking about the same people, or that's a different thing? Now, in the Bahamas, the head of the judiciary is the Chief Justice. So maybe there are some that have Chief Justices and have heads of the judiciary. I don't know. But I was under the impression the two were the same. But I heard them say Chief Justices of the Caribbean and heads of the judiciary. Now, if they're one and the same, they shouldn't have to say heads of the judiciary. The Chief Justice in the Bahamas now, maybe in them other places it might be different. The head of the judiciary is the Chief Justice. That's what they tell me. But you got the heads, Court of Appeal, President of the Court of Appeal. But the Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary. So the man told us one murder is too many. And yet we've been having one succession of murder, one after the other. And it doesn't look like it's on anywhere declining anytime soon. So what are we going to do about it? Now, the commissioner says she has a team, says she can protect the good people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. But she could start right with Central Police Station. Central Police Station does not give any assistance to the people of Fort Fincastle. So, Commissioner, see if you could deal with that for us. That's a lousy crew you got right under your nose. They do nothing to help the people of Fort Fincastle. Madam Commissioner, see if you could fix that. If you could fix that, it would be fine. So the thing is that the police are responsible for protecting the interests of the people of the country. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Now, they have some problems. Caller, just hold on, please. Let me make this point. They have some problems with the police force. They say they got a few bad apples. How come they eradicate the few bad apples out of the barrel? Why are they still there? From the time Tommy Twain-Quest was the Minister for National Security, I've been hearing about few bad apples. You mean to tell me we put handcuffs on them yet? We have a few individuals who are creating havoc in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. From the time Tommy Twain-Quest was minister, the Honorable Tommy Twain-Quest, the Minister of National Security. You mean to tell me we ain't finished with that yet? How come they didn't put handcuffs to them and throw them in the cell? And leave them there and have the process in place to deal with these people harshly. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing, Professor?
I'm doing okay. Thank you.
That's good. You're in a serious message this morning.
Yes, I
Today.
do.
You're talking about this crime.
Yeah, the crime. How come they ain't stopped crime yet? The man tells me, the Minister for National Security said one murder is too many.
Well. Let's be honest with ourselves. I don't know why we as adults. Let's act like adults today. Let's talk about the business of crime. Crime is a business. When you talk about crime, you have to talk about public and private spending and collection, accounts payables and receivables. So who makes money from crime? Criminal lawyers, judicial system, police, national security. Um, these are things that the income is made from crime. And so you ask yourself then, the roles that we play as a private citizen, let me put me in the place. If I was a criminal lawyer, and as a private citizen, I practice defending criminals, but then I happen to become the national security minister, or better yet, the prime minister of the country. And my role is to stop crime. But I say we can stop crime, but crime continuously to increase or get worse under my watch, knowing that before I became PM, I was a criminal defense lawyer. And in order for me to make money, I have to have crime or criminals to defend, right?
Let me put it this way. I understand what you're saying. Should criminals receive attorneys to offend them if they commit crimes? Should they have that?
Should they have a
that
defense?
privilege? They should have a defense, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So are you saying that the persons who are defending them are encouraging them to commit criminal acts?
I'm saying that crime is a catalyst to how they make money. No crime, no one to defend, no money making.
Okay.
And so you have to ask a criminal lawyer that, or ask the nation, why would we like a criminal lawyer to be in such high positions that we now asking them as the national security minister or the prime minister to curb crime, but they're failing at it. But you're then not asking yourselves why. Why are they failing at crime if they're criminal defense lawyers? They're not failing at crime.
I understand what you're saying. But now they are okay, you got the two of them are criminal defense lawyers, or were. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah. The prime minister and also the minister for national security.
National security, yes.
What,
Criminal defense
okay,
lawyers.
let's get the public to understand what is the role of the minister of national security. What is his job? What do you understand his job to be?
Security, national security protection. He is the person who determines how he protects the people and the assets of the nation.
Okay.
When you talk about our sovereignty, he man all uniform branches.
Yes.
He's supposed to come with, in my mind, some type of experience in combat.
Combating crime?
In terms of combat, I mean, he's no military man. We pick a lawyer to be national security, which requires some military or some combative training in terms of defense, offense. And you talk about how important it is for my role as national security and what that means, like you say, to defend and to protect citizenry from crime.
Yes. He is what is termed Minister for National Security. What do you understand national security mean? What is the term?
It includes everybody, the national security.
All right.
The country.
The country, okay. Now, he is saying, and he said this more than once, one murder is too many. That's what the Minister of National Security said.
Yeah, but that's cliche based on his occupation or his previous occupation. That sounds sweet if he come from the right occupation that fitted his role as National Minister of National Security. That sounded good, but in terms of his habits, his rituals, he is programmed as a human, depending on how long he's been a criminal defense lawyer. Naturally, when you talk about certain circumstances or positions, what takes over? What clicks in? What takes over?
Okay.
Instincts, right? What train your instincts, your experience.
So the thing now, he is in a different position. He is a minister in the government now.
Right.
So you don't see him being effective then?
No, because,
Okay.
listen, we had, when it comes to getting information pertaining to crime, under our police force, they became like almost like the criminals. And you talk about who have been under microscope
Yes.
and committing crimes. It came predominantly uniform branch.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, God forbid. And so that right there, that's a taint in the water. You know, the water was pure. You know, you look at the records, I guess we could look at examining the role of the police force in terms of reputation and
Yes.
their affiliation with crime. I don't know, under this tenure if it became worse, but I mean, we've had some high profile offenses came about under our current National Minister of National Security when it talks about putting our police in uniform branch under scrutiny.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, we talk about severe scrutiny.
Yes.
And you talk about armed forces, uniform branches getting locked up, both uniform branches getting caught up in an alleged drug indictment.
Yes.
You talk about the alleged Michael Johnson situation and
Yes.
the other alleged Alcott situation.
Yes.
We talking about these are the people who are supposed to defend us, but then they're the ones who are now under scrutiny.
That
so
is
now you have
correct.
two pit bulls on both sides. You get the public, you get the real criminals, and then you get the uniform branches who are supposed to be the protection against these criminals now committing, a portion of them committing crime. So it's an internal war within the external war going on right now within the force.
No, you have. I cannot go against that because that's
It's
hard evidence right
unfortunate.
in your face. I said no, but see, we have to face it. See, this is what I've been trying to get the Bahamian people to understand. We have to face the harsh reality of what is going on, in spite of what the Minister of National Security would say.
Yeah, because
We have to watch.
we have the common sense,
Hold on,
Mr.
caller.
Professor.
Just hold on. We have to listen to what he says and then watch what he does. He has the authority of the country to do some very specific things to solve these problems on behalf of the Bahamian people. Do you know of the Ministry of National Security having solved any major national crime problem in the country over the last, say, 10 years? And
Well,
here are the clear-cut benefits. Listen to me carefully now, because we got to get right down to the nitty-gritty. The man doesn't tell me one murder is too many. Do we see that ministry solving any major crime problems in the Commonwealth of Bahamas, say, over the last 10 years? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of the work of this Ministry of National Security having solved any major national crime problems. How would you answer that? See, those are the kind of questions I will ask him. I don't want nobody giving me no worship thing.
You'd have to come with statistics. You'd have to give me time to do my little homework, though.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, do you know of any major problems having been solved and has had a positive effect on the Bahamian people?
No, because if America didn't stop that drug bust, they would have still been running drugs and coke in America.
The man told us tons of cocaine passing through the Commonwealth to the Bahamas.
Our borders. And that's an anti-security breach right there.
But that is a breach. That's a big breach.
That's a serious breach.
Now, who got it? That's a different kettle of fish. I know who got it.
So
who was involved? Who was involved all that time they was watching? Who are the personalities who were involved in this particular situation? You see what I'm saying?
That's the part of us. Okay, so now are the Bahamian people, me, you, everybody, are we now mature enough? Because that comes with, that's why I say let's be adults now. Because are we mature enough to say to Billy or Sam, you're wrong?
Yes.
And are you willing to do better? If you're not willing to do better, you have to suffer the consequences. I like you. I like Billy and Sam, you know.
Yes.
I have no problem with Billy and Sam, but we put Billy and Sam to watch the money. And
Yes.
every time the count come and count the money short.
It keeps short.
Okay.
You're quite right about that. Yes.
Okay. The horror stories. I become a politician, so you'll get some calls coming, and some of the testimonies that government workers will tell you about the collusion and the corruption. And then they go in these budgetary and in the parliament, and they read these information to us to deceive us. But yet we don't act on our national security mindset. We look up the corner dope boy, but then what are we doing to the people who are openly showing us they're there and breaching our rights, they're breaching our constitution, they're breaching financial laws, acts that they put in place for them to govern themselves, and they're not even adhering to them. So what you're telling me as a young man, should I, crime is okay to do crime right now?
That's a good question that you asked, Coleman. Very good
Yeah,
question.
you see.
I appreciate this conversation. I wish we could
Yes,
have more
Mr.
of
Professor.
it.
I hear the
But see,
music in
I
the
like to
background.
ask the hard hitting question because, see, to me, if you ain't solving no problems, why should I be paying you hard earned money to do what?
Exactly. Now we got another point after the break.
Yes.
I can listen in, Mr.
Okay,
Professor.
thank,
Love ya.
thank you very much for calling. This is Professor Sidney McGard of Walton Sons. I had that exchange with that particular caller because Behemoth, we got to ask the tough questions, man. Are any major criminal problems being solved by the Ministry of National Security? Yes or no? And if there were any solved, what are they? That's question number one. And what are the clear cut benefits that the Bahamian people are enjoying today as a result of these major national crime problems having been solved? It's a straightforward question. You ain't got to beat around the bush with that. Either we have or we have not. But the man then tell me, say one crime is too many. We'll be getting over 100 a year. So what went wrong? What's going wrong there? This is Professor Sidney McGard of Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break. And I asked the question, what major national crime problems have been solved by the Ministry of National Security? The man told me one murder is one too many, right? What major national crime problems have been solved by the Ministry of National Security? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to the Bahamian people as a result of these major national crime problems having been solved. What is it, Bahamians? We just can't be paying out money year after year after year, and we don't know whether anything is being solved, yes or no. We've been getting over 100 murders. So how come we got over 100 murders? It's been going on for a little while now. We have to fix that. People who lose loved ones, they lose the breadwinner. See what happened to the police officer who was murdered on Father's Day. The woman lost her husband. The children lost their father. The mother and father of that particular person lost a son. Brothers and sisters lost a sibling. Nieces and nephews lost an uncle. Do you understand how serious this is? You see the kind of impact the loss of one single life. The breadwinner is gone. So not only does it affect that particular family, but affects any number of other families. This has a chilling effect. Now, how do we stop it, Bahamians? We can stop it, you know. We don't have to have people being murdered in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have to know who is in this country. It's important that we know who is here. We can't let people just keep hanging around, doing foolishness and nonsense. We have to protect our borders. Isn't the job of the Ministry of National Security to protect the borders of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? Don't you think the ministry ought to know who is in and who is out? So what happened? Ministry of what? National Security. Is the nation secured against poachers? Against persons coming through the sky or flying in? Are we secured when we're on land? That means we have so many things happening. Is the Ministry of National Security able to keep up? Because we got some wicked people out there. All they want to do is to do evil. Are we prepared to understand that? Are we prepared to do something about it? I think we should be. Because after all, the Commonwealth belongs to the Bahamian people. God gave this land to the Bahamian people, not to them other people. It isn't for them. They have their own country. They can go back from whence they came. And we should not be carrying the crap for some people who don't belong here. Are they purporting to be Bahamian? Then our whole country gets a bad name. Do Bahamians commit murder? Do Bahamians commit these atrocious rapes in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? And the question has to be asked, who is a Bahamian? Because some of you don't know who's a Bahamian. But I thought the Constitution would tell you that. That should be a simple one for an answer. Because it defines who's a Bahamian. Now, I hear some people say they're organic Bahamian. Well, I won't get into that. I'll leave that one like that. That's how they feel. They have a right to express their view. But when I check the Constitution, the Constitution tells me how one becomes a Bahamian, a genuine Bahamian. Because if it's done by the Constitution, it's genuine, it's legal, it's lawful. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Hey, where you been hiding yourself?
Yeah, everything's going, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson,
Yeah,
you heard about they are having this film coming here at one of the theaters, right? And this film is in Creole, right? And it's about kidnapping some people or whatever, right? And it's in Creole. I mean, like, do you think that's like a national security threat for the mere fact that it's in Creole? They can't even play that same video in Haiti. They can't play that in Haiti.
Okay.
But they're bringing it here. And you think it's a national security threat because they mean for the mere fact that people who speak English, they pretend that they're going to even go look because they don't know what they're saying or whatever. But I mean, like, to basically, like, to rally up, like, the young persons around here who speak that language to see how to go about doing kidnapping, because we have no real kidnapping or nothing around here. But you know that's
no, we
kidnapping. I'm talking about post of the Caribbean.
That's foreign to us in this country. Now, where is this film being played?
They were advertising on the station that is pro station that was for 2 days ago. They're at the theater, wherever they was the theater, they're going to be playing for 2 weeks and they're trying to get it for more time. But me, when I hear them do that, and that, I think it's White Strong. See right there promoting it and this and that, happy with a smile, right? But I mean, like, I think that's going against us on the Constitution. We don't want to be promoting that. We don't need to know about that. We don't need that to be playing in the Bahamas for the mere fact that there, who is going to be going to watch that, and how would they feel when they come out from the movies when all of them together talking in their language, and then their next move, what they're going to do.
No,
you don't need that around him, Mr. Thompson. Honestly, you know.
That is not that's not good for the country at all. Period. I can tell you that right off the top.
But they're not supposed to allow that to come to play here.
Yes.
You know, and this
a
guy,
foreign language. And
this guy, he claimed to be, but he's not to be him, but he's Asian. He produced the movie and everything, and he looking to do other movies and this and that. But you know, he need to find a different venue. I beg your pardon, sir.
Do you know what theater is going to be played at?
I don't go down theaters and thinking. I guess maybe in the mall, gallery closed. I don't know.
Galleria?
Wherever they haven't the last theater that is open, gallery is closed. Eh?
Okay, I'm glad you brought it to my attention. I'm going to inquire into it because I think it would be a threat to national security.
I'm telling you, man.
Yes, sir.
How could you? I mean, come on, man. You don't have them kind of thing. Kidnapping, and a lot of kidnapping we're going to remember the missionaries who were kidnapped who were Americans.
Well, Americans, yeah.
You know, and you think look at what's happening with Haiti right now. You think they didn't remember all of that, and this is why they didn't want them to be in America.
Yes.
You know, but I mean, like, we got to try to sort ourselves out because, I mean, like, the outcome of this isn't going to be good for the Bahamas because it seems as if all of them are coming here who are coming out of America and all, man. And the government just, you know, they allow everything like that because they look at these other nationals above their own citizenry. That ain't cool, Mr. Thompson.
Okay. Have you reported it to the authorities?
What?
What you just told me, yeah.
So, no, I didn't, you know. I figured
I'm going to look into it.
About it on the show, people can look into it, man. Because
no, but I will have to. I'm happy that you told me. I'm glad you told me about it.
Look at the graduation ceremony they had the other day. Look at these other things that happen around the town. These two slackers, they don't know who these people is. They're allowing them. And they don't want to call their name. They don't want to charge them before the court to let them go free and everything. Not to realize that.
Okay.
You realize that, Mr. Thompson?
What's that again? They
when they go before the court, they look in the paper. I see this one. He hit his girlfriend in the head with a rock. 18, 17-year-old. You know, but they tell him, you know, he all right. You know, these people watch you for a little while and think you can go now, but then if you do anything, they can charge you or give him a sentence. He pay the bill like $1,000, so he walk free. Some people might have thought to be approaching this thing wrong.
Okay.
You
No,
know that, right?
there's a lot. I have a difficulty with that. Yes, I would agree with that. Knock people in the head with rock. I mean, where's that coming from?
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
People, you know?
Yeah. No, that is wrong. We can't take matters like that because then the next you should be dead on the ground. Yeah.
I look at the graduation ceremony with these fights and things like that. And all the ceremony come from. All the things I talk about like anger thing come from. When we growing up, it wasn't like that, Thompson. You know that, right?
No, we were not. You're quite right
like
about
that, man. Wasn't like that, man.
No, I agree. I agree with you. Yes, you're quite right. Yeah, this is why I said to the Bahamian people, we have to have our own research team now. And I announced yesterday it was, I said 49 persons I need. Because see, there is so much material to deal with. We got to get the equipment, we got to get the staff, we got to get them in order so they can assist us in giving accurate and precise information to the Bahamian people. You're not going to get in from the conventional media. It's not happening.
Hey, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that we have three arms of government, right? That's the legislative branch, the judiciary, and then the press, right?
The executive branch.
Right? Yeah, the executive.
Then the press would be the fourth branch of government.
Okay, we got a fifth arm though.
No, four that I know of. I don't know about
I know
five.
Mr. Thompson, the fifth arm stronger than all the arm of corruption, man.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Hey, but Mr. Thompson, let me
Yes,
say something. I had an experience yesterday morning, right? I'm making like 5 miles an hour in the area. This woman, she drives like a Jeep looking, right? She making about 2 miles an hour, but she on the phone or whatever, right? Coming up, dropping to get up on the get or whatever, right?
What
So
area
the
was this
actor-
in? What area was that in, Colin?
It's in Sanibel area.
Oh, Sanderville. Okay.
Yeah.
At least you'd be able to go 15 or 20.
No, you know when the speed, no, nothing, Thompson. But she ain't looking where she going, right? But my car's right in front of her. And she started my car from the front, from the back of the front wheel to the front of the back wheel, right? All that right up, right? Mash it, right? Now,
Right.
so she's like, you know, what you could do is you can go what? I said, go. I said, no, there's an accident. You know, you wait for the police, right? Sit there for about 2 hours. Listen to Mr. Thompson. And I only say this because, you know, I can see some hanky-panky come on to this, right? So let me say something. From the time, when the police take about 2 hours to come, when the police pull up, I started talking to the police. The gentleman pull up in my Jeep, right? He appeared to be law enforcement, senior man, out of uniform, all right? That's who he appeared to be to me, because he makes this offer to these police. You know, he could buy them lunch, right? The
Yeah.
officer said, "Look here, you must be buying everybody lunch, right?" And he didn't take that, right? So, you know what? And this it goes on. This gentleman, he appears like he is a family member of this person, right? Right?
Yes.
In a car, discussing whatever. After, you know, when the police report and everything, the girl, you know, she knows she knocked my car. These ain't for the police for 2 hours, right?
Okay.
When we ready to go, you know the girl saying, "I ain't knock his car. I don't know he car yet like that, Mr. Thompson. My car photographs, my car paint on the car paint. It's like, I mean, you gotta stop in this town because look here, we gotta stop.
Yes.
Because if you're taking people for their word, people, I mean, ain't got no kind, I mean, come on. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Yeah, I'll never do it to somebody. But you know what? Why I'm saying this to you today, Mr. Thompson, is because it's matter of fact, right? I know some hanky-panky may go on, right? All right? Because guess what? That's why we live in this town, right? And you know, because guess what? The damages of my car is like $3,500. Huh? They gotta get a rental car, then they go to fix that too, right? Huh?
Yes.
Then spend $60 and get estimate yesterday, right? All of this inconvenience.
It is.
All right?
Convenient.
And guess what? Like how we run our town. There are cameras right there looking at everything, right? You know what? At the end of the day, it can't be no hanky-panky. We don't need to be living like that in this town.
Okay.
All right? If
Yeah.
you're wrong, you're wrong. All right? And that's what we got. When we do wrong, we got to be able to take our penalties, whoever we are, and make us more focused and next time around.
Okay, Bill. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
man. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call. The call is very much concerned about situations like that. In fact, that's a daily problem in this country where people hit and run. You damage people's property, whether it's a wall, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, even bodily injury, where people have to stay in the hospital and, you know, they don't have any beds, Bahamians. I've always lived outside the door of the Princess Margaret Hospital, but I don't want to be no patient in there. Even my father didn't allow us to be born at Princess Margaret Hospital, but right at the house where we were living at the time. And right now, there's so many things happening. They don't even have enough space. Every time when I hear people being admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital, I say, well, where are they putting them? They only have a limited number of beds. So where are they putting them? Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
That's how you doing.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm doing good.
Where are they putting all these people, man, who say they're admitting them to Princess Margaret Hospital?
Well, let me tell you something, Professor. I know you have 100 questions on your mind, and that's what you talk till the mind comes back.
Yes. You're right about that.
I be clicked in left and right. But let me put something else in your spirit, Professor.
Yes, sir.
Ever since this debacle started with the Haitian and the immigration and
Yes.
the corruption and everything that's turning the country into Haiti,
Yes.
while at the same time, Donald Trump is trying to cut ties. And we are the closest, they call us Caribbean, but we're in the Atlantic. But I didn't call you for that. I want to tell you what's going on. Everybody always say this is spiritual warfare.
Yes.
Right? That's what they say, right?
Yes, that's what they
So let me
say.
engage you on that.
Okay.
Yesterday, you remember I was telling you about this Frankie fella from Abaco?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's been talking about that since Brave Davis had him hand in hand in the Bahamas and
Yes.
in Me Too also.
Yes.
And so I am a participant on Facebook, and I felt, just to talk to my friends on Facebook and express whatever I was feeling. And I put on Facebook as a joke that Mr. Frankie guy is going to go. He comes on the airwaves, ZNS, and like the guy said, everybody's just hating that lady for doing that.
Okay.
And the prime minister, because if you approach the prime minister, security guards and policemen are going to stand in the front of you.
Of course they would.
Yes, they will, right? And that's the job. I can't.
No, that's understandable.
I'm sure Mr. what his name is, Frankie's not an illegal alien, but we don't even know if his parents were.
Yes.
But we don't even want to go there. But yes, he's embracing this guy. And Shanique is giving him voice on ZNS. Don't you know he's a hero in Abaco as we speak? And he'll come to us, Bahamians, tell us one story, but when they get back in the peas in the mud or wherever they live in Abaco, then the truth will come out. Boy, I tell them. I even kiss, let's say for example, I even kiss, what's her name, Shanique. These are the joke and the stories he'll tell as this hero gets back into Abaco, right? So I posted something like that as a joke. Inboxed me with a voice to express to me, I shouldn't have done that. That's not right. And I'm saying, this man cursed out the Bahamas right in the front of you and me. And you're going to tell me that I can't slap back at him? The man who said that the Bahamian men are nothing but woman's genitals? And this guy cursing out the Bahamas and everything good we stand for, as we extended our benevolence to him and his people. And you're going to call me a Bahamian for whispering to me. But I'll tell you something, Professor. This man I'm talking about, this guy who inboxed me, he's a Bahamian, but his daddy was deported out of the Bahamas. Now get a picture of that, right? So he always has this thing against Bahamians and what we stand for.
Yes.
And he's no big deal, I'm saying. But this is how the spiritual warfare works. He's going to call me and try to plant fear in me. He said, well, I don't mind what you say, but I'm concerned about your safety in Nassau. Do you believe he said that to me? Professor? I think you're gone, eh? Hello?
No, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, he said that to me. I'm a Bahamian in the Bahamas. He's asking me to allow this guy to speak about the Bahamas in any kind of way, and I'm supposed to just tolerate that for my own safety in the Bahamas.
No, that's foolishness.
To me, I think it's voodoo. That's how voodoo works.
Yes.
Remember when we were kids, when the older Haitians used to play it with us? All they do is scare you with something, and you behave. Tie your you bottle up in the tree and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of that, yes.
Yeah, I'm just talking. That's just foolishness. But today, it's psychological.
Warfare. Psychological warfare.
Also, that's why I say spiritual warfare, because that's all it's about, putting the fear in people. And this guy expects me to calm down in the Bahamas, where I'm still supposed to be the majority, I think. But I'm supposed to bow to this little bum Frankie guy and he's whispering this to me. But I understand his position, you see,
yes.
Because he has an issue with the Bahamas, and trust me, we have thousands upon thousands like that will side with the Haitians right now, these so-called Bahamians. That's why I stated that our problem, this Haitian cancer is in the Bahamas.
Okay. Well, thank you for your contribution. I want to thank the caller for his contribution. A lot of people are concerned about this problem with illegal aliens. Not only with the Haitians, you got them people who are so-called pretty people. I don't know why they call them that, because we have problems with personalities. They're all human beings, and they have carnal nature. They bring a whole set of problems to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Bahamians, we have to deal with this illegal immigration problem. We have to deal with the fact that when you look in the papers, all kinds of people talking about they want to be naturalized in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. They want to be citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Bahamians, how we get mixed up like this? This thing is so mixed up, and it's all contrary to constitutional law. It's contrary to the supreme law of the land. We shouldn't even have that. And so the thing is that we have to be very careful. All of these individuals who are purporting, thinking that they are supposed to be applying for citizenship. And unfortunately, the government of the Bahamas is accommodating all of these people. We have to put a hold on things in this country. You mean to tell me we're just supposed to take any and everybody coming in? You can't take any and everybody in. That's why I asked about the hospital. They have a limited number of beds, so there must come a point in time when they are flooded. But I keep hearing this one being admitted to the Princess Margaret. Where the hell are they putting them? Putting them on the floor? They got beds for all of them? And I've been getting some very negative reports about what's happening there by persons who have been there. See, I've never been a patient there. I don't want to ever be a patient there, even though I live right next door to the hospital. I wasn't even born in there because my father wouldn't allow us to be born in there. But the point is, the hospital is flooded with people. You had a situation where a kidney transplant occurred yesterday. They're saying it was a successful transplant. From the father to the son, got one of the kidneys from the father. That's fine. That's all well and good. Now we will see. They say both of them are in the intensive care unit. You know, in the intensive care unit, you got to be looked after. So we will see how that goes. Let's hope for their sake they will remain in good health. But the point is, you have other people being admitted to that hospital because of gunshots. People shooting one another, people stabbing one another, people throwing rock at one another, hitting them in the head. I mean, where did we get all this crap from? And all of them got to go to the Princess Margaret Hospital. Oh, well, they may decide to go to that other fellow just across the road from Princess Margaret Hospital, called Doctor's Hospital. I don't hear too many people going there, but you got some people who go there for medical assistance. That's fine. But a fellow like me, I won't go to none. So I have to take every precautionary measure to stay out of there. So far, I've been successful. I got to hang on till the man come back. The point is, Bahamians, we have too many negative things happening in this country. We have problems that we need solutions to. I'm going to speak to that more when I come back from this break. produce it playing the music. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break. Earlier, we have to look into that as well. I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
I will say this 10 million times, and I hope everybody involved gets the gist of what I'm saying. The Bahamas, as far as the world is concerned, looks like we're up for grabs. And until we let these people know we're not up for grabs, we ain't desperate to give out citizenship, The Bahamas belongs to us, and we don't want to flood our place with people from all over the world just to take up space. We'll have this problem. The problem is everybody believes that we're stupid. And we are proven to be stupid because no sensible people just let nobody invade their country at the rate that we're doing. What's wrong with us? We need to stop this thing with citizenship, and we need to let the people know that we into keeping our country, and we've been under hibernation and clueless. Now we've caught our sense. We want our country back, and we don't want the interference. And with these immigrants who are here, who bring in film and all this type of thing, they need to be put in their place once and for all.
Yes,
We need to
ma'am.
set the record straight once and for all that the Bahamas is for Bahamians, and we're not tolerating no more cultures coming in here trying to oust us. What they're doing, they're trying to burn us out because they want to take this country, and they're using every tactic to flood our mind that the Bahamas is their home, and it belongs to them, and we need to go. So we need to stop all this foolishness and this languages on the radio.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Well,
We need to
someone talk.
let them see that we are after them, and they ain't going to get this country. This belongs to us. They need to go home. They have a home.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I appreciate your concerns. We're working on some things, you know. We're not sleeping on this at all, period.
The bottom line is they want to take this country from us.
Yes, ma'am.
Uncomfortable. They don't want to be looked at as immigrants. They want to look as owners, and that we need to get going because we're so docile and stupid to let it get like this.
Let's put it this way. And I can understand your frustration because I used to be frustrated just like you. The point is, the people who have been given the authority to govern this place are the real culprits of the problems relating to immigration. Do you understand that, ma'am?
I understand it, and I concur with you 10 million
Okay.
percent. Because
Now,
why? They feel like
therefore,
if they cater to them, if it gives them the you and I, we have intelligence, we want certain things, so cater to the people, to the slums who ain't used to nothing. But
yes,
them same
okay.
people going to turn around and do what they have to do to them.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, well, I appreciate that because see, we have some people who are working on this thing, you know. It takes the collective will of a people to change the things you see happening in this country. But the government of the Bahamas is the real culprit. We got to do
The
something with them.
show,
That same crew who are running the country right now.
the record show.
Well, the evidence is overwhelming. For 52 years, ma'am.
You can't
From
blame
day
the
one.
immigrants. You blame the people who we put in the power to protect us and to keep it for us and our generation.
Yes,
But look
ma'am.
like everybody just giving it out like Holy Communion.
But that's what we got to stop. Well, I appreciate you understanding that.
Ah.
So yeah, well, thank you for your contribution. The lady is very, the lady is correct. The people who were given the authority, like say, they're giving it out like Holy Communion. So, Bahamas, what we can do about this? We're going to allow the government of the Bahamas to continue to use the Bahamas Nationality Act, which is a complete fraud. Because people are talking about they want to be naturalized. It cannot happen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. There's no law that allows for naturalization. So all of those crappy things that people are putting in the papers, they want this, they want that, all of that is null and void. And those who've gotten pieces of paper, scraps of paper talking about their citizenship, that is unconstitutional. That's why we have the matter before the court. Do we have another caller? Or you have the tape ready? I'm coming to the tape, Mr. Producer. You're reminding me of that. I appreciate that. But no, let me just deal with this and then I'm going to come to the tape. The point is the lady is correct. 100% correct. We have to put a stop to it, Bahamians. We cannot continue to go on and on and on and allowing those who you elect, being putting enough pressure on them, you know. We could do it today. And I said to you, we have to do some unusual, very serious action against those who have been given the authority to run this place. We have to fix that Bahamians. That's where the real problem is. And there's a way to deal with it. That's why I told you I need 49 people just to do research. You think I'm joking with this? We got to dig deep. 52 years, Bahamians, of crap that has been piled on us. And I asked some very strong questions I can't get no answer. Everybody just dodging and beating around the bush. Let me get to these tapes. Mr. Producer, put on the first tape for me, please.
Salary increases will be rolled out for 2,400 mid-level public servants, retroactive to September of 2024. So, Deputy, we break this down. That means that a lump sum payment will be made to the account of our public servants for a retroactive period. And then on a monthly basis, your new salary will be reflected moving forward. People have asked me many times since our announcement, how can they determine whether they are mid-level or not? If you are not sure of your level, please see your Human Resources Department. All mid-level public servants will be included in the June process. If you are not included, then you will be included in the next phase of salary increases being rolled out in September, which will cover everyone else. This includes thousands and thousands more public servants. At the end of this process, all public servants will feel the impact of a meaningful increase of 2 to 8% added to your salaries, in addition to any lump sum payments received. In June alone, that amounts to over $6 million in payments to public servants.
Now you heard what the Minister of Public Service just said, and they're banging on the tables in the House of Assembly. So the mid-level people are going to get increases in June, and then the others who are not included in that are going to get these increases in September, thousands and thousands and thousands. How come these increases just coming along now? What is it going to cost us for these increases? Who's going to pay for it? The point is, we keep saying this is an election season now, and you see all kind of things coming out of the woodwork. Do we have a caller, Mr. Producer? Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Go ahead, yeah.
Professor, could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead with your comment. I can hear you.
I am very, very distraught with the Shanique Miller show. She should be banned off of the air.
Okay.
She had Leslie Miller on her show, and Leslie Miller was bragging that he could go and rent a gun. Chantel Knowles is not doing her job. The Bahamas is going to, excuse me, you know what, Professor?
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
Yes. But thank you, caller. I've heard that comment, and I got to do a little bit more investigation. I'm happy that you called me and told me about it. The Commissioner of Police has a responsibility to protect the interests of the Bahamian people. And that kind of remark, because someone told me about it, I didn't actually hear the show, but you confirmed it, that people are concerned about some things that are happening in this country, and the police commissioner has a responsibility to do her job as commissioner of police. Is she doing a job as commissioner of police? Can anyone tell me what is the purpose of the commissioner of police? Do we know exactly what her job description is? Because she's the commissioner. And how this particular personality was appointed commissioner of police. I understand they got more than one deputy. If it's more than one deputy, you know that's unconstitutional. That was reported to me. But I'm happy that the caller called in, because there are so many disturbing factors in the caller before him. Talking about the immigration problem and how we need to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because you got an invasion of people in here. You don't hear about any repatriation, people being sent out of this country. The understanding is people coming in from Haiti every single week, maybe 2 to 3 times. Flights coming in. Who's going out? How many are going out? The point is, it has been reliably reported that they come prepared with Bahamian passports. Now, I don't understand that at all. I got to find out about that. We're going to do some investigation. That's why we told you, send that email and say, Professor, I want to support the research team. And we will give you the instructions to how you can do that. Because we need them, Bahamians. I need 49 of them on duty all the time. So I can get whatever I want done, get it done. I don't have to be waiting on anybody. Because we got to find out whether the information is correct. We got to research it. We got to check it out. We got to send people out on interviews to see whether it is so or not. We got to analyze these laws that have been passed in the House of Assembly. We have to analyze these treaties. We have to analyze these agreements. How do you think we can know whether it's constitutionally sound or not? So, babies, we can't just sit back and do nothing. The country is on a serious decline. So we got to stop it. So I hear the cries of the people out there, but you got to support Professor Sidney Walter Thompson so he could get it done. You don't see the people who you gave authority and power to. What are they doing? I asked some major questions. No answers have come forth. But there's something you can do about it, Bahamians. And so I appreciate those who are calling in and expressing their views. That's a good thing. Now let's go beyond that now. And let's get some action into the program. And it takes the collective will of a people to make it happen. Because we need to save this country, not only for ourselves, but for the existing young people who are here and for future generations down the road. Because they'll look at us and say, well, what did you all do? And we did nothing? You mean to tell me we can do nothing? We can just let the whole thing fall apart? And God gave us this beautiful spot in the world where everybody wants to come? He gave them their place. But all these people won't come here. And that's not a good thing. So the thing is, Bahamians, that we have to understand what it is we have in our hands. And so the caller was very upset about what was said by Mr. Leslie Miller. Now, getting back to what the minister had said, all these people, thousands and thousands and thousands, you heard that from her? So they get an increase in September. September will be 1 month from the proposed elections that occur. Why all this flurry of increases now? And then the mid-level people, as they call them, will get increases in June. These are things that the government of the Bahamas has put in place strategically to make you believe that they have your interests at heart. But they ain't telling you how they're getting that same money back from you, what they say they put on your paycheck. Do you see the cost of living going down? Or do you see it increasing? So you got to watch that, you know. Some say the electricity rate's going down. Bahamians, we know when it's winter, you use less electricity. But the summer is coming on. Then we're going to see what happens then. Will the rates be coming down? Will the food prices be coming down? Will the gas price be coming down? Because see, when they hear about these increases, the mid-level persons in government, and then the woman say thousands and thousands and thousands of others can get money in September. All them fellas out there looking for their money. The food store man looking for some money. The gas people looking for some money. All those businesses out there can be holding their hands out to get some of that money. So what do you think will happen? Will those people be better off? And will we have something done for the most marginalized people? We got to take care of them too. You can't leave them out. They want something too. The retirees. I hear them talking about retirees volunteering to do this. Why don't we hire some of them to be consultants? Instead of bringing in a bunch of strangers, foreigners, aliens, and outsiders, why can't we use some of them? I heard a young man on the air today talking about the drones. And the police force, as I understand from him, some of them, he worked with some of them and give them some training. But it has to be much more than that. He wants an opportunity to do something in the country, and he's not seeming to get hooked up with the right people. Now, let me just say this. I can talk about Professor Sidney Thompson. I am appealing directly to you. I ain't going to no politician for nothing. I put that email out there to you. The State of the Nation 242 at gmail.com. Let me take it a little slower. The State of the Nation 242 at gmail.com. You put your phone numbers on those emails, Bahamians. When they pass them to me for me to look at them, I look for that phone number. Because you see, I may want to ask a question right there and there. And then I'll instruct my people how to send the information out. We need your support, Bahamians, so we can get it done. And having the research team is just one fraction of what has to be done. Without proper research, Bahamians, we can't stand on. You see me here talking on the show, you think I'd be talking just for talking's sake. There are people in the background who are working with me, doing the research work, checking out the information, making sure the information is accurate and precise. So when they put it on my desk, Professor, look at this, examine it, and see whether it's constitutionally sound. We got a number of eyes have to examine these things. There's even the statute law and all out of place. You see what I'm saying, Bahamians? This is what happens after 52 years of going in the wrong direction. The nation been going in the wrong direction for 52 years. Bahamians, I was shocked when I first got to understand how serious this is. But after I've done my homework and check it out, I say, wait a minute now. This is harsh reality. When the man say one murder is too much, and you got over 100 in a year, come on, Bahamians. We got to fix that. Mr. Producer, play that next tape for me, please. Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll continue. I could talk till the man come back. The lines are open, 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. Bahamians, we have very serious problems in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I've been doing my work over the past 11 and a half months. When I asked you to check out in your constituencies, you thought I was sleeping there. I don't be sleeping on this, man. This is serious business. I see where we need some strong people, and I'm going to appeal to those people who are wanting to be candidates. I'm wide open. You could come to me and say, Professor, hold on, caller, don't go nowhere now. I got this point I want to put out there. All of those who are running, who want to run, prospective candidates, you got to get your message out on Global for a fee. Now, I ain't telling you it's going to be for free, because I got to pay these people, man. So we will charge you a fee. And you will call, you just put your name, send your name in and say, or you could call me, send me that email, say, Professor, and put your numbers on it, and we will get to you. You can put your name right at the radio station, say, give this is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson. We want you to get him. Listen, we need responsible, reliable people in that house, you know. We need righteous people to run our business in this country. Call you live on air. Go ahead.
Yes, Professor. I just got something that came over on the smartphone, and I'm very, very disturbed and perturbed. The gentleman said that he understands that the Chinese are about to proposition, or they have propositioned Rupert Roberts to purchase his 11 stores at a price of $6 billion. Do you hear what I say?
No, I heard you. That only could happen if the government approves the sale.
Yeah, well, what he's doing, would you like to hear the sound bite?
No, you could send the sound bite to my producer.
Okay, what is your number on WhatsApp?
813-0271.
813
0271.
0271. 813-0271.
Right, and then we will examine it before we allow it to go.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Okay, we have heard a proposition made to Mr. Rupert Roberts before. That was a couple of years ago. I think at the time, Mr. Rupert Roberts declined to what they were saying to him. All right. We will see what happens now, but this is what I'm trying to tell you, Bahamians. You've got strangers in your country trying to undermine Bahamian people. Okay? The Chinese got all kind of money. And they operate for their government. Don't think they have your best interests at heart. They never did. I was listening to an attorney in the United States who was a constitutional attorney. He was talking about some things about the Chinese people. They are there to undermine. Don't mind no sweet talk from this Chinese ambassador here. She's only doing the bidding of her communist government. Ain't no democracy with them. They could never be a democratic nation. They want to control Taiwan too. They call Taiwan their runaway province. That's how wicked they are. Hong Kong was turned over by the British to China. Now look what's happened to Hong Kong. I don't know why the British didn't allow them to become independent. They turned right over to the Chinese. Now they're under the boot of the communist government. Famous, that doesn't make any sense. We have to look out for our own interests. Do not think because they smile in your face like someone was telling me about someone living in Fox Hill, what the Chinese did. Those are just tokens for a particular individual. That means nothing, Bahamians. Look at the bigger picture. They want to buy out your country. They want to control what happens in the Bahamas. And they can't even control what they got in communist China. People are dying every living day. They don't have proper industrial controls there for the benefit of the workers. You think they got protection for the workers in China? They flooding the market with cheapskate products where the lives of people are being lost. Every living day you draw a breath, people are dying in China because of malnutrition, because of all kinds of things. And so when you see all these cheap products coming out of China, you think you're getting somewhere. We all the Bahamians, you always buy all this crap. But you fail to realize that the government of China is abusing the very people who are preparing those products for you. That's why I'm interested in buying no Chinese products. You're supporting wickedness when you do, Bahamians. You got some fellas talking about they taking trips to China. Cheapskate products while people die. And you yourself wouldn't want to work for it. But you want some other people to work for it. And then you come and bring your high price on the product. I don't support that kind of crap, Bahamians. Because that's what they're doing. Lives are being lost. People just like you and me. Let me stop because I hear the music. This is Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. We got to wake up, man. The Chinese want to buy out the Commonwealth of Bahamas for a couple of dollars. Tell them to take that money back to China where it belongs. Let them keep it over there. This is Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break. Saying and you're trying to impart information now. Do not forget now, Bahamians. Send me that email with your phone numbers on it and say, Professor, I want to support that research team. I need 49 people. There is a tremendous amount of work that has to be done. You can't leave it up to one or two people now. We got people who are willing to work, but we got to support them. We got to protect them. We got to provide the necessary service that is essential so they can work and be able to get the information. Bahamians, we cannot go very far if we don't have a very strong research team. We have to have that. Now, don't forget the email. The State of the Nation 242 at gmail.com. That is very important. And do not forget now we need sponsors for the radio show. They got to keep the radio show going, you know. The research team got to keep going. The radio show have to keep going too. You say, Professor, I want to sponsor the radio show. Now, you just simply send me that email with your phone numbers on it. Because I think I got one or two. I didn't have the phone numbers on. I wanted to call them right back, but I'll give certain instructions to my team so they could get that number, those numbers from those persons. The numbers are very important, Bahamians. So when I scan that email, I always look for the number. And I might have a thought in my head or a question in my mind. I want to call you right away so we could tell you how we can move forward. That's very important. So always put the phone numbers on the emails, whether you're from Grand Bahama, and I think a couple came out from Grand Bahama, but we don't have the phone contacts on them. Now, the thing is that wherever you are, you send the email in, we will work with it. Now, you may not send an email, you may want to call. Through National Affairs, the number is 325-8652. 325-8652, or you may call the radio station right here. 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. Or you might want to send me a note through the post. P.O. Box N9049. Put your contacts in the note that you send to me. And you say, Professor, this is it. You contact, your phone number, whatever. If you don't have an email, just send that phone number and we will get to you. The point is, Bahamians, I am appealing directly to you. I ain't going to no politician. Like the fellow on the radio say, he was trying to get some things that all you have, once you give me that support, I could get the work done. Am I ready to work? I told you that from July the 8th of last year. You thought I was joking, eh? While you were dilly-dallying around and you ain't bring to me some righteous people out of your constituency. You don't say, Professor, here's this righteous team we could work with. And here's this particular problem that we could solve. I've been doing my own homework for 11 and a half months. You thought I was sleeping on you all day. No, sorry, While I asked you to do something, I also working, and I have a national problem I'm working on in cooperation with some other people. You think we just be sleeping? Babies, we got no time to sleep. We got to work, and we got to work hard. It is tough and it's rough. Ain't no light stuff here. That's why the Lord prepared me for this. So I know we have to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And let me let the producer get to these tapes so we can discuss. Mr. Producer, put on the next tape, please.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture is hiring over 800 students, whether they are home from college or whether in their senior year in high schools, to help run some of these camps. We have various camps in culture, various camps in sports, various youth camps, and we intend to try to put at least 1,500 kids in camps. So I'm encouraging all parents to please go on the My Gateway at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and sign your kids up if they have nothing to do. All those under the age of 15, and put them in the camps, and they'll be occupied during the entire month. I don't think.
Well, they're having the Ministry of Youth, they're having their summer camps. And of course, some other people were having some summer camps. And I'm nothing against the Ministry of Youth. Say they're putting together 800 people, parents who don't have any thing for their children to do. They're hiring some summer students and so on like that. Basically, I have no problem with that. And that's a good thing. But there will be some in the private sector who will be doing summer camps as well. So they would have to hire people, and of course those people will have to be paid as well. What I'm trying to say, Bahamians, we've got to look out for our young people. That's important. And the thing is that if we don't look out for them, you know what's happening? We're losing too many young people already. You see, the young men we're losing in this country, we're losing some young women. You don't hear too much about the young women we are losing. You hear about the sex crimes that are being committed. We got to protect the young men. We got to protect the young women in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I tell you about the man in Foxville who got 6 daughters. He needs sons-in-law for his daughters. And someone told me you got some young men down in Akron. I ain't quite sure about that, but that's a hint what came to me. Akron's Crooked Island and Long. He said they got some good young men down there. Now, we heard of a tragedy that occurred in Akron where a father was beheaded by his own children. Now, something's wrong with that. You wouldn't think something like that would be happening in a family island, but it happened just recently. And I think the person that's now, who has been accused, I got to make sure I get this right now, accused of doing it. But we know the father is dead. His head was cut off after he was murdered. You any crap like that? The children murdering the parents. And now that ain't Bahamian. Bahamians don't behave like that. That's not Bahamian. That's demonic Bahamians. They do them kind of things. Not these people who go to church on Saturday and Sunday. They may have some other problems, but nothing like that. No. That's from a different source altogether. But we have to have our young people involved in constructive activity. So just not depend on the 800, you say 800 jobs? I think that's what I heard the figure was, 800 jobs that they say they're doing. But there are going to be many others who would be needing summer jobs. And that means they have to come into the private sector, and there will be others who will be doing summer camps. They're going to need to hire those people and support them. So they're going to need sponsors for that work as well. So that's important. But we have to save our country. Now, let me put this in while I remember before the next clip comes on. Those of you who want to become members of the House of Assembly who are running as independents, individuals, you make sure get in contact with the radio station. We want to bring you on air. You want to know about your program, what it is you want to say to the people. We could arrange all of this, We want to get your advertising on air on the Global Radio Network. If you ain't cut the ad yet, we cut that for you too. But you make the contact. Right here at Global, I gave the numbers 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. Or you send me an email and say, Professor, I'm interested in coming on. I'm an individual interested in being a representative in the House of Assembly. Whether you belong to a party or whether you belong as you want to go as an independent individual, I ain't got no problem with that. But you got to get your message out to the people. The people ain't going to know if you ain't telling them nothing. You ain't doing no advertising. You ain't get your campaign organized together. You want to have a town meeting in the constituency where you want to run, we could organize that for you. Or you want to have a portion to come on the air live, we could work that out as well. But it's a cost. That's not for free. I might as well tell you that right off the top. And when you come on, we'll have to let the public know this is paid advertisement or paid portion of the program for that specific purpose. That is because you are interested in presenting a political message to the Bahamian people. The Constitution allows for political messages to go across. So you have to get your message going. You know why? Because we need some responsible people in that house. See the kind of crap we're going through now? We need righteous people to run this place, Bahamians. Because Scripture says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. You think that's just there for taking up space? No, Bahamians. We need quality representation. We need parliamentary representation. And let me add this right now. I have to do town meetings to deal with parliamentary representation. And I got to do town meetings on the Constitution. All of these things require sponsorship, Bahamians. So you send me that email, or you send your name and number, you call the station, you leave your name and number there. Make sure a professor gets that, because we are going to need your support in being able to get this message out to the people. And don't take long now, Bahamians. Don't take no one almost a year like you did on me when I asked you from last July the 8th. You thought I forgot it. I forget nothing. That's why I was preparing. At the same time, I asked you to get your team together. But we have some people on the ground who are ready. We have some people who want to see change in their particular constituency. They want solutions to their problems, Bahamians, but they ain't getting none. And you got all these good ideas, and you have this interest in the people. You got to come out of your closet now. You got to let the people know you're interested in being a representative, a good representative in the House of Assembly. And I think the good Bahamian people will smile on you and give you a chance. But you got to simplify the message. You come to Global and let's help that happen for you. But you can't stay in the dark. And let me speak to those persons who belong to political parties. Do not expect those leaders in those parties to get you elected, because I can tell you plenty of them, they dumping right now. The two parties that are in the House right now, they dumping them. They have a slick way. One party got a slick way of doing it. Oh, we ain't running no more. Bahamians, there's more to it behind that statement. Don't mind that crap that they putting on you. One fella say he been there for 25 years in Fort Charlotte, then come say he ain't running no more. What did he do for Fort Charlotte? Name the major constituency problems he has solved in Fort Charlotte over the last 25 years. You residents of Fort Charlotte, you got to ask him that. Don't sit there with your mouth all pinned up. What did he do for Fort Charlotte? Because he certainly ain't doing nothing for immigration. That's for sure. This man's supposed to be constitutional attorney. Huh? Knowing it and not doing it is one major national problem we've had. Bahamians, that's even more dangerous. You know better and you don't do better. Look at the numbers of attorney generals. We had a bright man like Paul L. Adley. Huh? He hasn't seen the era when we moved from colony to nation. Sean McQueenie, who's supposed to be a bright attorney, he has missed it too. He didn't see when we moved from colony to nationhood. Missed it. Every single attorney general has missed it. Right on to this one. This is the worst one you got right now is Ryan Pinder. Because he's been there twice. And he come up with the same crap. Telling the people about you could use ordinary legislation to override constitutional authority. What kind of crap is that? And you mean to tell me all them smart aleck personalities who's supposed to know the law didn't have enough sense to tell this man, stop talking foolishness, stop talking nonsense, and get it right? Well, baby, that's what you got to wake with. That's why we got so many problems with immigration and citizenship in this country. So everybody believes they're supposed to be a citizen in this place. Huh? And all of them cannot qualify because there's nothing in the Constitution that gives them the authority to become citizens of this country. Do you know that, Bahamians? We've done our homework on this, you know. So when I come and speak in these microphones, we know what is happening. But if you have people in power who ought to know, Notice what I said. They ought to know. But if they know and they ain't doing it, Bahamians, that's even worse. If they didn't know, that's one thing. But it could be corrected, Bahamians. But it hasn't been corrected. And so we suffer as a result of persons you send to do your national affairs and they ain't doing it. That should not have to happen in this country. But the thing is, we can do something about it. That's important. Okay? So let's not sit back. Now, you send that support as I asked you to do. The State of the Nation, 242@gmail.com. Because we got to save this place. Payments, I've been ready to wait a long time. You give us the support, we'll get it done. No ifs, no ands, and no buts. That's why I'm appealing directly to you. Ain't checking for them other fellas who has proven they don't care. Let me stop right there. Mr. Brewster, you ready for the next tape? Oh, caller on the line. Let me let this caller come through, then we can go to the tape. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead quickly. Caller, go ahead quickly, please.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, Mr. Thompson, are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Bahamas. Mr. Thompson, this show is so awesome. And what I find so treasonous in our country is that the Constitution is being thrown aside like a piece of trash, like a receipt from a store, just thrown in the garbage.
Yeah, we got to stop
It is so sad when I look in the Guardian or Tribune and see that persons applying for citizenship is in those papers, but they're in the business section of those papers hidden away.
Yes.
Because the media knows that most Bahamians don't really read the business section, and they hide them there.
No, that's true. You're correct on that point. I can't knock you for that.
And I was watching Beyond the Headlines last night.
Yes.
And with Shanique Miller and her guests. And I'm not to put Shanique Miller down, but I think that she is biased. Because what happened, that's my opinion. What happened is that you invite two guests, one from the PRP and one from the FNM. Okay. How could you do that? And not the COI? In Parliament today...
You have a valid point, yes. That's a valid point.
In Parliament today, pardon me?
Yeah, you have a valid point. I'm not knocking that at all.
Yeah, in Parliament today, you have the
three
PRP,
parties,
the
FNM,
and the COI.
Yes.
But you're going to have just PRP and FNM, and then you have a problem when the young man from the PRP mentioned that Lincoln Bain has more traction than Pintard, and then you're going to answer. The media houses today is biased against the Bahamian people. The Bahamian people are being disenfranchised because you have thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands following Lincoln Bain and the Coalition of Independence, and the news media is blocking him out. I mean, right in our faces, and we can see it. The Coalition of Independence and those followers who are following Lincoln Bain, we were former PLPs, we were former FNMs who are hard enough. Yes. And we see no changes in our country. Our country is failing. Our government and opposition is failing, and they're not standing up for the indigenous organic Bahamians in our country.
Okay.
To the point where you heard that Alfred said, he's stepping down. A constitution man.
Yes.
Why would he step down, Mr. Thompson?
Good question.
Why would he step down? Why wouldn't he hold the leader of the country, in which he's a part of that organization, to say, hold on, you cannot do that. Yes. And what is going on is wrong.
Yeah, he knows better.
If persons are applying for citizenship in the country, shouldn't they be at the age of 18 and not over?
The Constitution is very clear on that.
When I see all of these old people, 38, you can look at them and probably assume their ages. But these are not young people applying for citizenship.
Yes.
All these old folks.
Yeah.
paid full for these old folks applying for citizenship. They should have not been even entertained.
They are using a fraudulent document. The government of the Bahamas, let me stress this, caller, stay on the line, don't go nowhere. The government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is using a fraudulent document called the Bahamas Nationality Act, which has no constitutional authority. Do you understand how serious that is? That's a piece of trash. They have pushed aside the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which is supreme law. When a government pushes aside the Constitution and act the way they're acting now, that's treasonous. And people need to face
treason,
that.
I would say. High treason.
High treason.
And the men and women in the country who know some little bit about the Constitution, I'm not even talking about the ones who know about the Constitution, like you mentioned, Sean McCreaney and those men
Yes.
who should be stepping up to the plate and saying, listen, this cannot happen, and have a big spread in the papers. But when you have the media today, the mass media today, who is not even going out into the communities with their anchor leaders and
Yes.
asking the people the questions, the seeing the hurt and the pain of the Bahamian suffering people. They're not asking, they do no investigative reports in this country because it will make the government and the opposition look bad, because the opposition is quiet like a church mouse in that House of Assembly. All they're talking about is who have the best row. Nothing concerning the issues of the Bahamian people.
That is why I have launched a direct appeal to the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I tell them I need 49 people to do research because there's a lot of information that has to be done. There are many things I can't even speak about. All these treaties, all these agreements that the government has signed, I haven't touched them yet. We need the manpower. We need the support. We need the backing to make it happen, Bahamians. You give me the support, I'll get it done for you. You got to worry about them other fellas. Because we
Mr.
got people who are
Thompson.
ready to go. Go ahead, caller.
Mr. Thompson, I will tell you this. If this news media house, which is privately owned, and like you said, you've sent out the invitation, but at a cost. I can guarantee you this. If you see the Coalition of Independence take advantage of this opportunity that is open right now, the sponsors would flood you like crazy, because this is where the people will come to hear the truth and express their grievances right on this radio station.
We have no problem with that.
An invitation to the COI candidates. I am sure of it, because you know what happened? Steve McKinney is getting it.
We are.
When you have radio stations like you and Steve McKinney and those, when you open up the door, the hell candidates come and candidates invited. Do you know that PLP and F&M, they don't send their candidates to no radio show to answer no questions?
That's their problem. They got to worry about that.
That's a shame.
All who are there, who are interested in being strong representatives for the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the door is open here at Global. We had a meeting on that, and the management of this station has given the approval for that. So we are not against any party, even if it's the PLP or the F&M. They can do the same thing.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes.
It should be whereas every candidate for every constituency have an opportunity to come live on the air and to be questioned by their constituents.
Okay.
No debates. We have nothing. We have the leaders of these different organizations just grab and throw people.
Okay.
It is so unfair to the Bahamian mass.
Caller, I appreciate what you're saying. My producer is telling me I need. He's giving an indication my time is about up. But thank you very much for your contribution. Of course, tomorrow, I believe it's Friday. Friday is open line. We continue this trend on Friday, tomorrow. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Bahamians, pray for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because we need God's help in saving this country. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Have a pleasant afternoon.
Good.